So
Yes, Luke.
this is about the combination of the Shiva and Shakti energy. You know, I often feel that when I meditate, when I gaze. I've been feeling it for many years. It's the combination of the two. I'm feeling it now. So I'm mentioning this so maybe I can broaden and deepen my understanding of it. What I feel is like the inner piece of that Shiva energy, that deep, deep sense of deep well-being. At the same time, simultaneously, that beautiful electric Shakti energy, sometimes so strong, like moving through me like an electric current. And they're both happening at the same time. And it's quite wonderful. And I've been experiencing this beautifully for decades. And I've done research on it to better understand it. And sometimes when I've explained it to people who don't experience that, even spiritual practitioners, they've sort of doubted my experience. And I say, well, how could you doubt my experience? This is my experience. But people who don't necessarily feel that, they wonder when you're speaking it, if it's real or not. I know it's real. So I just would like to hear you talk more about Shiva and Shakti energy. And maybe each one on its own, but also the combination of the two simultaneously, like I feel very, very often. And I think that's the best way I can phrase my experience and my question to you.
Well, your own experience is your own experience. So that can't be doubted. It's what's true for you. It's what happens for you. There may be, I mean, I have no idea when you say that. I don't know why someone would doubt your experience. I can't say what it was because it sounds like it's more than one person that has happened with. But so there can be a lot of reasons for that, but it may be a language thing. Where you're using the language Shiva experience and Shakti experience, or Shiva energy and Shakti energy.
And the combination of the two simultaneously, yeah. And really more, I wanted to hear more about your talking from where you are at, from your point of view, from your understanding.
I can talk about my experience for sure, and let's do that. The part of what may be happening, I don't know, with other people, is a language thing, because you're using philosophical and mythological terms to describe your experience.
But I describe what it feels like. I always
right. So that's different. So that's what I'm trying to make the distinction there.
Yes,
you feel peaceful energy, and you feel some kind of electric energy in the midst of that, right?
At the same time, yes.
Yeah.
This happens daily, pretty much.
Good. So, because Shiva is not an energy. There's no Shiva energy except Shakti. It's sort of like the words Shiva energy is another word for Shakti. Because Shiva is not energy. Has no energy in himself except Shakti. Shakti is all energy. So peaceful energy is Shakti. Electric energy is Shakti. Blissful energy is Shakti. Discordant energy is Shakti. All felt experienced or all experienced experience is Shakti. Shiva is simply the awareness of all of that energy.
Ah, I see.
See? So as far as different kinds of energy, feeling peaceful energy at the same time as electrical energy, definitely, absolutely. Sure, why not? What's there to say about it?
Not much. It is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah.
But thank you for clearing up the verbal distinction.
Yeah, because that might be some things that people are reacting to, although I have no idea. The other thing is my experience with such energy is that it can happen in the midst of anything. Like whatever drama is going on in life, I can feel both of those at the same time happening with whatever's drama is going on, which is kind of like, how could that be? Like, how can I be? I'm feeling upset about something that happened, and yet I'm still feeling a current of peace and a current of energy or Shakti, or I don't know what I'd say, energy, kind of a electricity was a good way of saying it, like you said. Yeah, and it's quite, and it's nice because it doesn't, the experience of phenomena doesn't just feel like gross matter, like hard material. There's a feeling in it of everything being unified perception in some way. It's all kind of
It's transcendent for me. That's the way I describe it for my.
Yeah, it's not, it doesn't, I don't know if I would describe it as transcendent. Again, that's a language thing. Transcendent is kind of means, but it's transcendent in its own way, sure. You could say it that way.
Transcending material reality.
Yeah, in that sense, it should definitely transcends the sense of separate gross material reality. Yep, it does. It transcends into a kind of a realm of energy. It's a realm of energy. It's wonderful. It is very helpful actually to make that distinction between Shiva as not being any of the energetic states, even peaceful ones, and Shakti or energy, all of those peaceful and electrical states, all being energetic states. That's a very helpful thing. That I kind of go out of my way in the Tapestry of Being book to be really clear about that. How there's like, it's would be our energetic presence identity, which is a weird thing because at a certain level it subsumes everything. So it's like you're not separate from what you're aware of, but the you in that is energetic presence identity, and so is the world. You just feel yourself one with the kind of how to say it, pure perceptivity energy that doesn't feel separate necessarily, or it has some separateness in it. It kind of, it's like a current running through everything. Or you could say that everything is in that field of feeling. The thing is that those states, all states, are changeable. So anything that's perceivable, like I'm feeling peace and a current of electricity, the reason it's really helpful to make the distinction and say that this is Shakti is because all of it's Shakti, is because everything that is Shakti, all phenomenality, and technically even the gross forms are Shakti, but whether you experience it as energetically or as gross solid matter, they're all changeable. They're all changeable. You're feeling peace, And it's possible to not feel peace later. You're feeling an energetic thing, electrical charge going through it, and it's possible to not feel electrical charge. Whereas with Shiva, that's why he's not an energy, Shiva, or philosophically Shiva, and we don't have to call it a he. Shiva is simply the space that's aware of peace or a lack of peace, peace, electricity, or a lack of electricity. Both of those, anything that's changing is not Shiva. Shiva is unchanging awareness. Shiva is not an object, not something you can point to and say, and not something you can say, I experience Shiva. No. Shiva is the awareness of experience. There's no I that experiences Shiva. There's the recognition that awareness, or Shiva, is aware of peace and electricity. So that is what people would say is transcendence even of Shakti. The recognition that, Shiva is the transcendence from which there's no further transcendence possible, really. Although one could say the awareness of that awareness would be, but there's no difference in actuality at that point. Just an infinite regress if you use the mind to try to figure it out. Yeah. That which is aware of awareness is then, you can't go further than that. So in the Kashmir Shaivite tradition, they talk about those as a trinity. They talk about the beyond, and then Shiva and Shakti. But Shiva is not any energy or anything perceptible where Shakti is. So is that helpful at all?
Yeah, actually, yes. You actually gave a clarity verbally to my experience of Shiva and Shakti. So,
good.
And
good.
I realize now that Shiva just is, obviously.
Yeah.
Shakti, all experiences, no matter what it is.
It's all Shakti.
Is all Shakti. Yes.
And of course, that means that since all of it is, I think it's useful to say this, and this would probably, I'm sure this confirms your experience because it's natural for us. There is a just natural hierarchy of the different states within Shakti, of the different kinds of Shakti. Or, it's all one Shakti, but you could say it's all one energy, but the different, you could say, vibrations of Shakti. There's a big time preference for you could say it's usually described as the fastest vibration, but you could say of peace, rather than that's why they got Kali in those images. That's Shakti, but then they have the beautiful, Mahashakti, where she's just gorgeous, and it's beauty and harmony and peace, and just, we prefer that. There's a hierarchy. There's no doubt that within,
yeah.
Right? And that's natural. And therein is the, you could say in some way the whole of samsara, or the whole of Maya, because lack of clarity. One thing we just say it. Oh, look here, describe it intellectually, and we go, oh, got it. But that's not exactly clarity for us. Clarity is getting clear through experience, through seeing ourselves. Oh, that's that. That what we really want are those expandedness, and the only way that we can get it is not, or put it this way, we can't get that the how of resting in a vibration that's high does not happen through simply pushing away vibrations that are low. So like just because we really like to feel good doesn't mean that we can, oh, I just choose to feel good. And then you find out, your neighbor had a horrible car accident. God, may it not be so. And something tragic happens to yourself or a loved one or anything. You can't do anything. It's like, you're going to feel the pain of that. You're going to feel anger towards things. You're going to feel all these things, contracted states, you could say. And then how you relate to contracted states, or what the approach with or how you hold them, matters. Because if you resist it and get in, then you lose the whole expanded thing. You're just, at the same time, if you go, it's like, how do you hold it? How do you be with it? And a big piece of it is to allow yourself to feel and not get into thoughts that define it as a separate finite thing. And that goes again to transcendence, right? So if you go, and so we can't, and even that process, we can't just go, I'll never do that again, right? So somebody beats up your best friend, and you might have done some kind of work where you go, well, I know the person who does that is the same. They're all energy, so it doesn't matter. But you're going to be like, I want to, what? But what it is you're going to be thinking in terms of a person, and you're going to be replaying it, and you're going to do all those kind of things until you don't. And the quicker, the better. The quicker you let go of the mental imagery to define what's actually happening now, the better. We know this. When something happens, we can go in our head and think about how terrible it was. And that just keeps us in a world, appears to be a world, of duality and separate beings and separateness. Or we sit and let go of that and realize whatever happened before. It's not happening now. There's nothing. The only thing that's keeping it alive is my dualistic thinking. What's happening now? I'm feeling energy that is contracted and feels angry or fearful or whatever. And even that is a label: fearful, angry, whatever. But I can feel this. You feel that, and that actual feeling, like present time experience without a label, is energy. And then the energy of the sensations of the body, the sensations of emotions, and even those descriptions are concepts, mental concepts. You just be with the feeling, and then you're with feeling, and then it's peace. It becomes the goddess again. The more refined goddess. It's all goddess. It's goddess when it was all contracted, otherwise known as Kali. But when it's expanded, it feels better, and it always felt better. But we just are in, you could say, whether you're a spiritual person or not, it always feels better. And in a way, that's all that anybody's ever seeking. But the ways in which they're seeking, everyone's confused. They're thinking they're living in duality, so they try to seek it by getting revenge, or they try to seek it by, I'll go to the judge, and all of that's nice. Some of it's better, some of it's worse, some of it makes it more complicated, some of it makes it less complicated. But the transformation of energy and let going of dualistic mind, whether you go to the judge or not, that is primary. That is working at the level of energy, you could say, at the level of Shakti. Even more primal is, where is all of that transformation of energy happening? Like, okay, because see, all of that can have failure and success. Like, I wasn't good at letting go of the energy, or I was really good at letting go of the energy. I wasn't good at letting go of my thoughts. So I was good at, because even at that level, there's failure and success. But the awareness of all of that drama, Shiva again, just aware of what's happening, having that as the context, that I am awareness itself, aware of contracted energy, expanded energy. That's like the most basic.
The energetic experience that I'm speaking of starting at the beginning of when I was talking today, was one of bliss. And
Yes.
I know that there are all kinds of Shakti experiences like you're describing, but I'm specifically talking about the one of bliss.
Yes.
And it's not something I ever seek. It happens spontaneously. It's happening right now at this very moment.
Right.
And it's just, I don't go to myself, oh, let me see if I can get that beautiful, blissful feeling going. I
Right.
just do what I do, or I communicate with somebody. There's an energetic transmission that takes place as right now. And that feeling of bliss, which is both electric and peaceful,
Yes.
just comes about. And it's beautiful and enjoyable.
Yeah.
And even as I speak, sometime years ago, if I would move or speak, it would dissipate. But now, after so many years, even as I move or speak, it's still happening.
Most
So
definitely. I hear you.
yeah, that's what I was speaking of. And it's not something I ever attempt to make happen. It's just there.
Yeah. The thing, I hear you. It's much more likely that when there's a contracted feeling, that it's sort of like there's no need to seek it, right? When there's, like as you said, it just comes. But rather there's times when other things come too. When the contracted, situation comes. And then there's it's it's only natural to want relief, to want to relax back. So in that sense, that's when there's directionality. When it's just like a neutral thing, like minding my own business, and then I feel this, or recognizing that, oh, this is kind of in the background all the time. There's no need to do anything about that. But there's times when it's obscured by a situational thing coming up, contraction. Even then, you'll notice, I'm sure you have, that it's not totally obscured, especially if you remind yourself, wait a minute, oh, there it is, it's still there.
Exactly.
Right?
It's always accessible. Yeah.
Right, it's always accessible. But so the language of reminding yourself or feeling what's going on, all of that is remedial. There's no need to create it. But when something else comes up and steals your attention, then you're just kind of, oh, okay, this is just a way to realign. Oh, and there it is. And once it's tapped into, once you've hit pay dirt, or you dug deep enough into the well, there's no need to do anything. It's just there it is. And often it's just wet right underneath the ground, like right there. But yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very good. Yeah.